This is VirtualPBX-admin training. Our training will last between 30 to 45 minutes, depending on load times. We do record these trainings, so if you can't stay for the whole time, that's fine. You can always come back later. And this also allows you to share the link with other staff members who need to become system admins. Feel free to make use of YouTube chat feature to ask questions about a feature as I go over them. And as an administrative note, because of the upcoming holidays, this will be the last training of the year, and we'll be back after the new year on Tuesdays. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. So here we're on our Dash login page, which is at dash.virtualpbx.com. To get logged in, we need 3 pieces of information. The first is your email address, should be in all lowercase letters, your password, which is case sensitive, and then your account name, typically your business name or organization name. And then you will click on the sign in bar. Now, if that doesn't work, just above the sign in bar, there's a forgot your info link. You can click on that. We still need your email address, and then we need one of the 2 following pieces of information, either the account name or a phone number that's on the account. Click on the reset password bar, and you'll be sent an email. Follow the instructions there, and then to change your password, it'll log you back out. Enter that new password, and you can also choose to click on Remember Me, and then click on Sign In. And then we're in our dashboard page here. Now, up the top is your name and your account name. If you click on that, it's going to open a big pop-up. Starts you off on your user page where you could change your password. Now, as a system admin, on the left-hand side, you have access to other things like the account level settings. The most commonly changed thing here is the time zone and language, and the time zones for like the US. Do a search for New York or Chicago, Denver, or Los Angeles. System admins can manage the add-ons. These will add additional features to your Dash account. Things like text forward, advanced reporting, dynamic caller ID, multiple auto attendants. There'll be a pop-up letting you know what the additional charge per month is. You have to confirm that to have the feature enabled. Right, you can cancel it if you don't want to pay the additional amount. Over here on the left, under the billing section, we have the billing portal. And then you can access the customer portal here. That's where you would go to access previous invoices, as well as update your payment method. Any system admin can click on Cancel Account here on the left. And when the page loads, over on the right, there's this red cancel button. You would press on that and fill out the resulting forms. This will cancel your account at the end of the current billing cycle, at which point you'll be sent your final bill. When you're done in this section, over here on the right, click on the close button, and you're back here on the dashboard. To the right of your name, most of us will have a D&D toggle. That stands for Do Not Disturb. Mine right now is currently enabled, meaning I'm not taking calls. My calls to my user are going to voicemail. If I click on it again, then I'm taking calls normally. Little phone icon here. This opens up a new tab that goes to webphone.virtualpbx.net. If you have a web phone device on your user, when you go to this page, you can use your Dash login information to get logged in. You can then use your browser on your computer to make and receive calls. Currently, the browsers supported are Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. The chat bubble icon here, this opens up a new tab and takes you to virtualtext.app. This site has its own login information. And this is where you would go to make use of the virtual text feature. The question mark icon here opens up a chat bubble at the bottom right of your browser window, and this will allow you to speak to our support team to help you with a particular feature that you're working with. The hamburger icon here, 3 horizontal lines, these gets you to other Dash features, which we'll be touching on towards the end of the video. and then the arrow to the right is to log out. We're going to skip down here in the middle, total users. I have 5 users, which means I have 5 people who make and receive calls. Most of our plans are based on a per user basis, so the more users you have, the higher your bill. Then we have total devices and a breakdowns of the types. The 3 to pay attention to are these 3 here in the middle: the soft phone, web phone, and SIP phone. All 3 of these are kinds of VoIP phones. Depending on your plan, you might have more or less of these included as part of your plan price. Down here, total phone numbers, I have 12. Generally speaking, most of our plans include at least a local number as your main number. And depending on your plan, you may have additional numbers based on the number of users. You'd want to talk to our account services team to verify what you have, or if you just signed up, check the pricing page. And then the breakdown here, assigned numbers and spare numbers. Assigned numbers are numbers in use. Spare numbers count towards your allotment. You're just not using them currently. USDID is just a US local number. US toll-free is actually a US Canada toll-free, right? 800, 888, all the way down to 833. Conference bridges, I have 3, which means I've enabled the conference feature on 3 of my users. Over here to the top right, the main number block, I have these 3 main numbers. They're all going to the same part of my system, and in this case, they're all playing the same main greeting. Conference number, you can have multiple conference room numbers. They all go to the same set of conference rooms. This is the number everyone is dialing to join a conference, including your staff. The fax box number, you can have 1 main fax box number, and this is your inbound fax number. The company directory, there's 2 links here. The first is CSV, downloads that kind of file, so you use your favorite spreadsheet program. It will show your users' names, their email addresses, their extension numbers, and their devices. The soft phone link is for use with the VirtualPBX desktop soft phone application. So if you're using our soft phone app on a Mac or Windows PC, you can download this file and then upload it to your soft phone. In your contact list on your soft phone, you'll see your other users who are using the VirtualPBX soft phone and the status of their soft phones, i.e. if they're on a call or not. VirtualPBX Store, this opens up a new tab, takes you to store.virtualpbx.com, where you can order things like a VoIP phone. The account realm, unique to each account. This is used, it's one of the 3 pieces of information used to program or provision a third-party soft phone, and is also used to send a fax out, which we'll be covering later. We're going to skip back up here to this blue bar where it says caller ID. Click on that. This pull down allows you to select any of your main numbers. Whichever number you select becomes the default number on the account, and that is what your VoIP phones, for example, will use for their outbound caller ID, which they need to successfully make an outbound call. You would click on Save Changes. Hold music, you can upload your own hold music. The dash system will play back .wav and .mp3 files up to 1 megabyte. Click on the upload button here. Click on Browse to find the relevant file, and then click the up arrow icon, and then Save Changes. Again, .wav, .mp3 up to 1 megabyte. This hold file plays after a call has reached a VoIP phone on your account, and then the person who answered the call then presses hold on their VoIP phone. That's when this file plays. Now, hours is part of the main number, but we don't want to get into that until after we've set up users, devices, and groups. So over here on the left, we'll click on users. On the user page, shows all the users on your account. The people with the blue suit icon, these are system admins. The people without that and the gray person icons, these are your standard users. Basically, they can use a website to check voicemail or set up call forwarding. To add new users, click up on Add User here. Fill out the form. Main thing to know, email address used for login needs to be unique for each user. Right? You cannot reuse addresses. The system will, by default, automatically create a voicemail box for the user. You can choose to have the user show up in the user directory, which you can change at any time. You can send emails to an alternate address. By default, the system uses the email address used to log in to communicate with your staff, right? Voicemail notifications, password resets. If you want those emails to go to a different email address, you would click on this box here, and then enter that different address in the box provided. This is also something you can change at any time. And this last one we recommend, send credentials to the user, put a check mark here, and then when you click on either of the buttons at the bottom, the user gets sent an email welcoming them to the Dash account. Now, once a user is created, you can click on their name. You can change their name, like if you made a typo. Change credentials, that's where you would go to change their email address or their password. You can also send them the password reset email directly from there. Change PIN, changes their voicemail box PIN number. Here's the option to send emails to an alternate address. Here's the option to be included in the user directory or not. This pull down allows you to change a user into an admin or an admin back down to a user. Little clock icon here allows you to select the time zone for the user, so that way like their voicemail timestamps are correct. Ringing timeout by default is 20 seconds. Plenty of time for a landline or a VoIP phone. If you have someone who's only using a cell phone, you'd want to kick this up to 30 seconds or so. Extension box. You can choose to have users have multiple extensions if you want them to. Just click on add extension and enter that new extension number. Phone number box. Users can have their own phone numbers. If you choose to do this, just be aware that the phone number is available 24/7. Doesn't have hours of operation. You have the option here for buy numbers or add from spare. In the show notes, use that support page link for the specific instructions on how to add phone numbers. You can do a search for add phone number or even DID phone numbers. I will be referring to that support page link quite a lot in this video, so just be aware of that. The device box, this is where you would add devices to a user. The only one I'm going to cover is adding a soft phone to the user. So first, under the device box, you would click on new device and select soft phone. Now, whenever you add a soft phone or web phone, you get this warning message. Please read it at least once. And then a big box should pop up. Here we go. So this is the settings for a third-party soft phone, meaning you're using someone else's soft phone to application. That's fine. Give it a name. You're going to want to copy the SIP username, click on the SIP password box, copy this, don't change it please, and then copy the account realm. Those are the three pieces of information you would need to program or provision that third-party application. Now, if you want to use our soft phone application, down here below the view configuration guide, it says use third-party application. This is a toggle, so you can click on it. Now it says use VirtualPBX application. So now you just need to give it a device name, right? And then click on create device and then save changes. Once you click on save changes, the user gets an email that says your VirtualPBX soft phone is ready. In the body of the email, it's going to be their login information and then download links so they can download the app to their preferred device. User features, there's a lot of features here. I'm only going to talk about two in depth here. First is voicemail box. Your voicemail box can hold up to 100 messages. After that, it is full and cannot accept any more. You can, by default, always call into your voicemail box and listen to and manage your voicemail box over the phone. Also, when you log into the website, even as an admin, one of your options is a user portal. The user portal defaults to your voicemail tab, so you can listen to your messages there and manage them there. Now, also by default, we send you an email with an MP3 attachment, so you can listen to the voicemail directly in your email. Next up is Follow Me. This is for users with multiple devices. Right now, this user has 3 devices. When a call comes to them, all 3 of their devices ring at the same time. And so whatever the device they're using or closest to is what they pick up with. Now, if they didn't want that, then you'd come up here to Follow Me. You would click to enable. And then as an admin, you have to decide what devices they're going to make use of. So you go to where it says do not ring, uncheck the devices you want to use. and you can click and drag to give them a ring time. Now up here, these are timestamps. This last one you can edit. It defaults to 2 minutes. You can also click distribute. All right, now it's always gonna, whenever calls come in, always gonna ring the DT soft phone here first, and then the NH web afterwards if it doesn't pick up on the first one, and then save changes. Right, so not ringing the cell phone. Now, one thing to know is if this user is part of a group, calls from the group ignore the following settings. All the other calls would go through. All right, I'm going to touch on these other features briefly. Your caller ID number. This is for users with their own phone number. When you enable it, their phone number becomes their outbound caller ID for their VoIP phones. Fax box. This allows you to enable a fax box for this user only, and then they can send and receive faxes. Conference bridge. This means you've enabled the user to host or manage a conference. Call forwarding. This allows phone numbers or calls to be forwarded to outside numbers. If you have a user like this one who has a cell phone as one of their devices, don't really need to make use of call forwarding. Also, for users that only have a VoIP phone, there's one of the forwarding options is failover mode, which you want to use that support page link to get more info on that. Customized call recording. This allows you to record inbound and outbound calls. Music on hold allows you to have custom hold music for this specific user. .wave, .mp3 up to 1 megabyte. Do not disturb allows you to put a user on do not disturb or take them off. And then hot desking is a VoIP phone feature for a shared office environment where basically users can log into the VoIP phone that they're sitting at to have calls sent to them at that device. Again, in the show notes, use that support page link to look up the specific feature for more information. All right, next up, we're going to go to groups. Groups are departments, also referred to as ring groups or hunt groups. Up here at the top, you would click on Add Group. You need to give it a name, you need to give it an extension number, and then click and drag your staff members that you want to be in the group. Click on Create Group. Once a group is created, you can always click on the name if you need to change the name. You also have group call attempts. This is how many times the system will route the inbound call to the members of the group. So you have little arrows here to the right where you can increase or decrease that as necessary, and then save changes. The members box shows who you've assigned to the group and how you're ringing the calls to them or offering the calls to them. This is an example of blast ringing or ring all. So whoever gets the call first answers it. You have timestamps up here, defaults to 2 minutes. You click distribute, so it always rings in this order. Even if David's on a call and another call comes to the group, the system will offer him the call, right, for 40 seconds, and then it goes to Dante. Now, you can always adjust these sliders so that those later callers don't have to wait on hold quite as long. You can also change the order, click and drag. Oops, and click so, and then click distribute again if necessary. Extension box, right? You needed to add one when you created the group. You can add multiple if necessary. Groups can have their own phone number or phone numbers. Just click on add from spare or buy new. Like on our user, this phone number is available 24/7. Group features. Ring back is essentially hold music for the group. You would click up here to enable, upload a .wave or MP3 file up to 1 megabyte. Be aware that the system does not loop the file for you. So you want to make sure the media file plays for as long as your total ring duration of the group, right? So if you left the group at default ring duration of 2 minutes, make sure the media file you upload plays for 2 minutes. Next action, if none of your staff is able to pick up what you want the system to do with the call, right? Click to enable. In the pull down, select the destination, whether that's a voicemail box, a different group, a specific user, or a specific device, etc. . 'Cause, 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 'cause Allow call forward. If you enable this, that means your users can make use of call forwarding, i.e. they're not at their normal desk, like they're at a customer site, but they still want to take group calls. Caller ID prepend, this is a VoIP phone feature. This allows you to add additional text or numbers that shows up on your staff members' VoIP phones in front of the caller ID. So customer Mary is calling in, rings to Bob's Yealink phone. On Bob's Yealink phone, on his display, he'll see the word support and then customer Mary's phone number. Right? So he knows what kind of call he's getting. All right, so we have users with devices and groups. So now we can click over here on main number. Main company numbers, these are the default numbers people call to reach your staff. You can add from spare or buy new. If you unassign one of these numbers, it does not delete it from your account. It just moves it to a spare number. Office hours strategy, you have 24-hour open office or custom office hours. If you choose custom for each day of the week that you're open, put a check marker in front of that day, and then set your open hours in 24-hour or military time. You also have the option to be closed for lunch every day at the same time. Just put a check mark here if you are, and then set your lunch hours again in that 24-hour or military time, and then save changes. Office holidays, if you're closed for holidays, put a check mark here. Click on add holiday. You have single day, date, range, and advanced. Each one of those creates a new row. So single day for like Christmas Day, give it a name, month, date, save changes. All right, date range is I have here for holiday. So choose the month, the date, the start date, the end date, save changes. Memorial Day, this is the advanced option. So give it a name. Yeah, I choose the month. My first through last and fifth, actually first through fifth and last, sorry, and then the day of the week, and then save changes. If you need to remove a holiday, just click on the trash icon and then save changes. Incoming call handling. So for my three main numbers, how is my system handling calls that come in during my open hours, during my after hours, or during my holidays? So during my open hours, calls are coming into this first option here, my virtual receptionist, which is a link you can click on. The main menu, these are what people can press on their phones to navigate through the phone system. Click on add route to add an additional option. This first pull down, you have 0 through 9, the star key, and the default action. And then the second pull down is something you've already created on your system. Users, groups, devices, etc. Your greeting options, this is where you say thank you for calling, and then you want to give instructions to your inbound caller. Text to speech, just type it in. The system will read it out in a robotic voice or computerized voice. Upload your own file, .wav, .mp3. Choose from something you may have already added to the system. Just use the pull down to select the file. If you want to record over the phone, you can do so. The system wants you to use a VoIP phone on the account and then use this PIN number. Now, if you don't have a VoIP phone handy or you don't want to use one, that's fine. But then under settings, you want to go to where it says allow outside recording, turn this on. This allows you to change your main greeting over any phone, cell phone, landline, whatever. You still need that PIN number. And then when you're done, change this back to off as a security feature. Be aware when you call in over the phone, you're overwriting the existing greeting that you just heard when you called in. Professional recording service, when you click order, this will take you to or open up a new tab to Snap Recordings. It's a separate company. You can order from them. They'll email you the completed file so you can just come to upload your own file. Number of retries on missed dials, how many times your inbound caller can make a mistake. So they can make one mistake, so they get 2 total attempts in this case. Right? So I just add 1 to the number you have here. Dialing timeout is how much time the system listens for additional button presses in the case of someone entering a multi-digit extension number. Allow dialing extensions by default, this is on. That means if someone enters a valid extension number, the system will transfer the call. If you turn this off, The inbound caller can only press one of your menu options. Everything else is an invalid entry. Suppress paying of invalid entry. So on the final attempt, if someone keeps entering a wrong entry, the system will say, we did not recognize your call, or we did not recognize your entry. If there's a default action, then the system will transfer the call to that default action. If there's not, the system says goodbye and ends the call. So if I change this last one to a default action and then let it go to my sales group, what I might want to do is suppress that message of we did not recognize your entry. So that way the system just says transferring the call and it goes to my sales group. Any changes you make to your main menu, your greetings, or your settings, you need to click Save here at the bottom right, and then you need to click Save Changes here back under Incoming Call Handling. Now for after hours, I'm using the second option, which is the Live Operator Answer option. This first pull down lets you select something on your system. The idea being you're giving somebody or several people a chance to answer the call first. If they're not able to, then the caller gets sent to the virtual receptionist. This is my after hours receptionist, so I have different menu options and a different greeting, but the concepts are still the same. And then for my holidays, I'm choosing this third option. This first pull down, something on your system. Users, groups, media file, devices, and then this extra option here, which is skip the voicemail. Second pull down, just a voicemail box on the system. Main conference number, you get multiple conference room numbers if you want. You can also do a custom greeting, which is text to speech. Click to enable, type in what you want the system to say. Even if you leave this disabled, when you call your conference room number, it says welcome to the conference and then prompts you to enter the conference room number and PIN number. Main fax box number, you can only have the one, but once you have one, you can edit fax box, inbound notification email in the box to the right, put an email address in there, and that email address gets sent a message every time a fax is sent in. Just be aware if someone dials your fax box number and then hangs up, this email address gets sent an email letting them know that there's a failed inbound fax attempt. Email permissions, in the box to the right, you can put an email address, or as is shown here, you can put your company's email domain. The advantage of putting your company's email domain is that means anyone at your company can send a fax out from this account, even if they're not a user on your Dash account. To do so, they need to create an email from their company email address. So in this case, from at virtualpbx.com. In the to field, they need to put the destination phone number, which would be +1 area code and phone number, no spaces, dashes, or parentheses, the @ symbol, and then their account ROM. After that, they need to attach a PDF or TIFF file, and then click send. Right? The system looks at the to field, the from field, and the attachment. Anything you type in the body of the email does not get transmitted as part of the fax, nor does the subject line. So anything you want transmitted needs to be in that attachment. One attachment per email, one destination email address per email. Again, use a support page link for faxing or the nitty-gritty on that. Auto attendance is a plan-specific feature or add-on, just allows you to create multiple attendants, whether that means you want multiple menus or multiple businesses. Use the show notes and just do a search for the support page link for the auto attendance. Devices just shows your devices on the account. Red device means it's unregistered, so we can't send a call to it. Green means we can. Under the wrench icon here, for any VoIP device, under advanced, you can set the emergency caller ID. So for every phone number, you can add an address to it and then assign that phone number and address to a specific VoIP phone for the purposes of 911. Right? So if that staff member is working from home and has to dial 911 from their VoIP phone, you want to make sure they're sending their home address versus your company address to emergency services. Greetings tab shows all your media files on the account. You can add new ones up here at the top. just give it a name, click on Browse to find a .wav or MP3 file, and then click on Create Greeting, and it will upload the file. Name is whatever it was called. Source, TTS means text-to-speech, which means it was created under your virtual receptionist or one of your auto attendants. Upload means you uploaded the file. Recording means it was recorded over the phone. Play lets you play it back directly here in the browser so you can see if the reading is still relevant or necessary. Download lets you download it, so if you want to keep a copy of your greeting, like I would suggest for your normal main greeting, but also it's a backup in case the play doesn't work. Little wrench icon here, this lets you change the name, so it could be something that you can make more recognizable to you, or you can just delete it if you know you don't need it any longer. Numbers takes you to your numbers in use. This just shows you where numbers are assigned. Little gear icon here, the E911, that's where you put the address for a specific phone number. Spare numbers, these are numbers you're not currently using. A spare number you can also delete from your account. You would just click on the box in front and then click on the delete link there. Click on delete numbers to confirm the deletion. Buying numbers here just adds more spare numbers to your account, which you can assign later. Port numbers allows you to move a phone number from one carrier to another. So from, say, AT&T to VirtualPBX, use the support page link there to do a search for porting a phone number or moving a phone number. Voicemail boxes shows your voicemail boxes on the account. Anything that has a heading under the user column here was created with the user. You can create your own voicemail boxes up here at the top. Give it a name, a voicemail box number, a PIN number, click on Create a Voicemail Box. One thing to know is the voicemail box number is not the same as an extension number. So dialing 3333 from my virtual receptionist will not get me to this voicemail box. Unless, right, the only way to get to a voicemail box from the virtual receptionist is if it's a menu option. Now, the voicemail box number, PIN number, that's what you use to access the voicemail box over the phone, to check messages, update its greeting. Under the advanced options, you can upload a media file, .wav.mp3. Typically, you want it here in the media file. Right? If you have something selected in temporary and media, only the temporary file plays. Right? The media file will not play again until I send temporary back to none. Recipients, your user voicemail boxes have a built-in recipient, the email address used for login. But any voicemail box should come to this page here, click on Add New Recipient, and enter an email address. Keep clicking Add until you're done, and then save changes. Once you have recipients and a media file in place, you click on Already Set Up. This means you won't be changing it anytime soon. And you'd also want to double check that you have attached voicemails to email. Now, this is my support voicemail box, which I never want to get full. So in this instance, I've decided to do this, which is delete after notification. So after the system sends off that email with the MP3 attachment, the system deletes the voicemail box, or deletes the voicemail message, excuse me. So that way the voicemail box doesn't become full. Text forward, this allows you to have forward or SMS messages forwarded on to email. Use the show notes for full breakdown on how to do that. Virtual extensions is a plan-specific feature. This allows you to add additional extension numbers without adding users. Again, use that support page link. Call logs, this shows your call history on the account. You have today, this week, this month, or you can go custom. Custom lets you go back up to 12 months. And then you would just click filter. And you see here call logs. Green arrow to the right, that's a call coming into the system. You can click on to see if it actually made it to a device. And if we scroll down, these yellow arrows to the left, that's an outbound call from the system. You have a fire extinguisher icon here. This reports the call, meaning it creates an email for you, pre-addressed to support@virtualpbx.com. It's going to have the technical details of the call. Please include context so our support team knows why you're sending it in. You can also download any of these as a CSV file. So if you're good with spreadsheets, you'll get some more information out of that. Feature codes, these are ways to access Dash features directly from a web phone. You can use support page link to do a search for feature codes or for the phone commands cheat sheet. All right. Next up, we have the call center. This is a plan-specific feature. In the show notes, you can look at the ACD QUEUES Pro demo. These are call queues. These are an advanced version of groups. This allows users to log in and out of the queues. If an agent is on a queue call, or any call for that matter, the queue doesn't offer the call to them. It would skip them and go to the next available user. Dynamic caller ID, plan-specific feature. This allows you to create rules to change the outbound call ID for your VoIP phones. Faxes is your fax manager, so you can get to any fax box on your account to see the fax history. Reports is advanced reporting. In the show notes, you can look at the advanced reporting demo. This allows you to create your own custom reports. Voicemails, this lets you get to any voicemail box on the account. So if you get someone reports that a voicemail box is full, you can come here and manage that voicemail box. Integration AWS, plan-specific feature. This is where you would go to link your Dash account to your AWS account, right? Amazon Web Services. So if you wanted to store your call recordings there, this is where you go to link that up. Blacklist, this is how you would create, or this is where you go to create a list of phone numbers that you're blocking from reaching your staff. Those calls would still show up in your call log as rejected, but they would not actually ring to any of your staff members' phones. Again, use that support page link and use a search for blacklists. Call recording. With an AWS account, this would take you or show you the call recordings via AWS. Otherwise, it would open a new tab and take you to recordings.virtualpbx.com. You would use your Dash login to log in, and you can view recordings there. Number manager, this takes you back to your spare number page. User portal, every user has access to their own user portal. There they can manage their voicemail, right? They can see their call history. They can see if they have their own fax box, they can see their own fax history. The contact list is everything on the Dash account, so that's what they would use to help transfer or make use of feature codes. Conference tab is where they would manage their conference settings if they have the conference feature enabled. Settings and devices, right here is where your staff members can enable call forwarding. Put a check mark. +1 area code and phone number, no spaces, dashes, or parentheses. Click save. And now I'm call forwarding. Right, uncheck it, click save again, and now I'm not call forwarding. Webhooks, plan-specific feature. This allows you to link your Dash account to other software. In the show notes, you can look at the introduction to Zapier webinar, which covers some of this. You can also go to developer.virtualpbx.com to see sample code of what we've done to link Dash to other software, like Slack, for instance. SMS registration. This is what you have to go through to make use of the virtual text feature. This first page is informational, and this link here gets you the step-by-step guide. Start registration, where you go to actually start your registration process. And registration status lets you know where you're at in the registration process. And that is everything. Thank you for your time today. As I said, this will be the last training of the year. We'll be back after the new year. So I hope you have a happy holiday season. And with that, we will see you next time.